out of it. Sorry for the background noise. There's probably lots going on down here. Lots of crazy noises going on. So I wanted to add some audio to this thing. Couldn't really decide what I wanted. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. Obviously, I want to hear more engine noises than I want to hear stereo noises. So what I found was a Mercury Mountaineer premium sound system. And I didn't realize what I had until I saw this head unit sitting on the passenger seat of a Mountaineer, and I really didn't know what I was getting, but it was very cheap. I think I paid like $25 for it. So this is my $100 audio system that actually sounds okay. It actually isn't that bad. I'm actually really impressed at how it actually sounds. It's actually really crazy. So I'll show you a little bit more here in just a second. Okay, so this is my messy right now trunk of my cop car. So I still have this member here in the front, needs to be welded on, and I have the front crash beam that needs to be installed. And this is a car cover in case it sits outside very long, and this is the front grille that I painted from the LX version. But this, my friends, is the subwoofer. It is actually an 8-inch sub, OEM factory sub from a Mercury Mountaineer from the premium sound. Okay, it was actually really easy. All I had to do was pull this harness right here from the passenger side of that Mountaineer, pulled the subwoofer from the back luggage compartment area there, and then I built these little standoffs. It took some meticulous little welding and cutting and measuring to get this correct, and then I painted them the same color as the car. And I put welded nuts on each end of these standoffs, so these have nuts on each end. And then these bolts right here are actually from the dash of that same Mountaineer. So they are the dash bolts from the passenger and driver side. I thought that would be a cool touch and make it look a little more OEM if it had those gold, if it had those electroplated bolts on it. They turned out really good. I am not a master by no means, so you can probably tell it's a little bit of spatter on there from the welding and such. And you know, this isn't obviously a perfect install, but for me it's absolutely genius and perfect. So that's how it turned out. The sub right there, you can see it right there on top, and it's up, it's facing up directly at the rear parcel shelf. And yes, I actually swapped out the third brake light with an LED brake light that I modified slightly so that it would fit. This actually came, I had this spare from getting all the parts from all these Volvo S40s, you know, their FOMOCO parts. And so this third brake light actually came from a Volvo S40. So I retrofitted it so that it would fit on my cop car, and it works excellent. So that's that. Okay, so now let's get in this thing. See, I fixed the door panel. No longer is it white anymore. It looks really good. It's a little bit dirty, but looks great. So let me show you what we got to do to get one of these to fit, okay? And what we got to do is we got to cut a little bit of duct out of the back of this hole that this fits in, okay? A little bit, and I'll show that to you right now. Okay, so now to make clearance for a double-din radio in a Crown Victoria, I'm sure you guys have probably read the website, whatever it is that tells you can't do it. Well, you can. You got to do a little modification. I couldn't get the head unit to go back in there far enough. So you can see what I've done now is I have cut out this defrost tube that goes up here. There's actually several of them across there. So what I've done is I took my oscillating saw and I cut off right here, and I cut off right here, and took this tube out right here, and then I took that same piece and made a stencil for a cover for this side and this side, and I used 3M let's see, 50-second adhesive, or they call it tab repair, and I got those glued on there. They're drying right now, but now, which is really cool, I can actually slide this in there. I can slide the head unit in there. And see, before I was having an issue where it would only go back to about right there. And then if I went up from there, it would only go back to about right there. That's about as far back as it would go. Now, I can actually, this bracket on the bottom, I haven't test fit it yet, but you know, I can go up on top. See, now this bracket is flush with the front of this piece of plastic. This side's flush, so it's actually a little bit behind. So that's what I got now. I want to see if it fits like this, then I'll make a bracket that this will bolt to, and I'll bolt it to this, or screw it to this, and then screw this to that bracket. I'll just make a little bracket for it. Shouldn't be too bad. It's just it's a pretty decent dense material, so it should take a plastic coarse thread screw just fine. So that's the plan, so we're going to do that next. Okay, so as you can see here, we have now the N-6 disc changer from the Mercury Mountaineer premium sound system, and it actually has a subwoofer built into it. Okay, so if you were to buy this head unit by itself and install it in your cop car or whatever else kind of project you got, it would sound like crap. Okay, it would sound like crap, because you got to have the amp in the back on the subwoofer. There's an amp back there, and that amp actually powers the 4 speakers. So there's two speakers. There's one speaker in each door, and then there's 2 on the parcel shelf in the back. So they're actually 2-way speakers that I have replaced. So the Mountaineer actually only had the single woofer type speakers, just like the OEM ones, on the back doors. It did not have the 2-way speakers. But I was able to find, just 2 cars down was a Lincoln Town Car, and the Lincoln Town Car has the same exact part number 2-way speakers as the Mountaineer with premium sound on the front door. So I got the 2 speakers from the Mountaineer from the 2 front doors, and then I went to the Town Car and I got the 2 speakers from the parcel shelf, and installed them on my cop car. Okay. So the last part of this install, now that we've gotten the 4 new two-way speakers in, is we're going to need to get the head unit wired for the amp. This is the plug. There was 3 plugs that I pulled and I cut off. And these are the 3 plugs. So there's this plug here. So this plug here only has 2 wires coming out of it. These 2 wires are for pretty sure they're for the steering wheel controls. I don't know why it's only 2 wires, but maybe it's like the certain number of, I think when you click a button, maybe it sends like 2 signals for like volume up, 1 signal for volume down, and then, or pulse, I think it's pulse wave. So based on the pulse wave is what the action you get from the steering wheel. Obviously we don't have steering controls, so we don't need this plug. It plugs in right here in the center. In the center, there's 3 on this. So this is the N-Premium audiophile N-CD6 from Vistion. So this is a OEM Ford Lincoln Mercury premium audio sound system head unit, stereo radio head unit. But I think that I'm probably going to leave this connector in here just so nothing gets in here and touches any pins. But I think I'm just going to go in here and just remove these 2 connectors. I'm going to just remove them out of here because I just don't need them. The second plug, the largest plug, which is the one that we normally see in all of our cop cars or Panther platforms, is this plug. This is the most common one that we see. There's a newer one from this that some of you with a Crown Victoria, that one of the nicer versions, it's not a police interceptor. You'll probably have a different plug, but it does the same thing. So you got all your wires here for all your speaker level inputs and grounds and all whatnot. So this all actually works in here. So everything I believe works in here. I've got to verify that, but we'll do that once we plug it all in. But I don't think I'm going to need this plug. This is the one that came out of the Mercury Mountaineer for this head unit, but I don't think I'm going to need it. So we're going to leave it out. Okay, and then the third and most important one is this one. So this plug is only on the premium sound head units for Ford Lincoln Mercury. And basically what you have are low-level inputs or outputs right here for the sub. You have a shielded connector there for your shielded ground. And then this red wire, if I remember correctly, I believe is the turn on circuit. So I think the red wire is the signal for ignition on. So that's what will actually tell the amp to turn on. So that right there is what that is. And when the head unit powers on, it'll actually send a signal here to the amp, and that's what we'll get. Basically all I've got to do, if I had known this, I would not have cut this wire here. But what I've got to do is just solder these wires back together, back into this harness here. Let's crank this puppy up. Okay, as you can see, everything pops up like it's supposed to. No big deal there. Everything's working exactly like it should, which is fantastic. Okay, I love it. I think it's great. This is awesome. Okay, now I took it one little step further, because the only issue I have is, like, right now I can't play any of the discs that are in here right now because of YouTube copyright issues. Okay, so I can't play that. So I was like, well, sometimes I want to play my own music from my phone, from Pandora, because I pay for Pandora like an idiot. And so I want to play it on here every now and then. And so I wanted to add some Bluetooth to this, and the easiest way possible was this extra Bluetooth receiver that I found. I had extra from an old company vehicle that I had in the past, and I had to get a Bluetooth receiver for it because it didn't have anything. It's just a regular, it was a Grand Caravan, and it just had a radio. It didn't even have a CD player, so I had to find something. So I bought this. It's a ZUS brand, ZUS. It was something cheap. It actually doesn't look too bad. I kind of like it. It's pretty simple. It has this cord that leads into 2 plugs. There's a 3.5 millimeter plug where you can plug it into a 3.5 millimeter if you got one for direct audio play, or you can broadcast FM. So right now I've got it set to 89.3, and then I've got power down here. And so now what'll happen is this thing will boot up, and it'll just do like these little dots and its checkbox. So now see, it's connected, and so now I can play some audio through that station. So they match 89.3. So now let me pull up something and see what we can do. It's actually rattling the parcel shelf in the back. That's so crazy. I mean, that actually sounds really good for... I mean, seriously? That's crazy. Alright, so that's probably going to be a wrap for this episode. Thank you for tuning in to my channel today, and hopefully you enjoyed the content of installing this $100 audio sound system from a Mercury Mountaineer with the premium sound in my police Interceptor car. It sounds amazing. It's way more than what I asked for. I really just wanted some tunes in here for occasional music listening when I'm by myself, and I got a whole lot more than I bargained for. That's pretty freaking cool. Pretty cool. So use my little brain here to figure it out. But yeah, it was super duper easy. Hope you enjoyed the content. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one, guys. See you later.